Hey everyone, it's Rosalind, and today I wanted to make a video sharing some examples of celebrities who I believe have manifested success into their lives. And you tell me, so I'm gonna share with you guys some examples, and if you like this video, let me know, and I might make a part 2 because there's a lot of celebrities and a lot of quotes that allude to the fact that they might have manifested their success, whether consciously or subconsciously. So if you like it, leave a like or comment, let me know, and I might make a part 2. So I'm just gonna hop right into it and start with the celebrities. First up is Freddie Mercury from Queen, and he was quoted as saying, "I always knew I was a star, and now the rest of the world seems to agree with me." And I remember actually listening to an interview of people who knew him, and I actually couldn't find it online, so I'm sorry I can't include it here, but I remember them saying that even when Freddie was crashing on people's couches and didn't have a place to stay or any money or anything like that, he still lived like he was a rock star. He still had that attitude of, I'm a rock star. And I don't know, did he create his own reality? Did he manifest that for himself? Because it seems like it to me, and I just thought this one was interesting, so I had to include it. Next we have Selena Quintanilla, who is one of my favorite people to have ever lived, and I love her and her spirit, and I could go on and on. But Selena was quoted saying that you're a star is like saying you're a freak. Even though my dad would tell me, be prepared, mijita, because you're going to be famous. I still don't like the word. You're going to be a big star, he used to tell me when I was little. So I think this is a good example of subconscious manifestation, because when she was growing up, her dad would tell her she was going to be famous. She's going to be a star. And when you're a kid, you are really susceptible to the environment and what people tell you and what you're exposed to during those ages, because you're living from your subconscious mind like 100%. So you're like a sponge and you really absorb things. And so her father telling her this was instilling that into her subconscious. So she grew up being told she would be a star. So maybe that helped her manifest success later on in life. Maybe that gave her that quality. Who knows? But I just found it really interesting. Like I said, Selena's one of my favorite people ever, so I had to include something about her here.
And I feel that, if you have a dream, don't let anybody take it away. And you always believe that the impossible is always possible.
Alright, so this is going to be another one of my favorite people ever, Marilyn Monroe. And this is a really popular quote from her, and it goes, "I used to think as I looked out on the Hollywood night, there must be thousands of girls sitting alone like me dreaming of becoming a movie star, but I'm not going to worry about them. I'm dreaming the hardest." And I think this helped her manifest her success because she knew that she was dreaming the hardest, like just having that attitude, like not worrying what anyone else is doing, what anyone else is accomplishing, but just focusing on her vision for herself and believing in herself and knowing that it doesn't matter how many people attempt to achieve that success. She knows that she can do it, and she did. And it actually came with like a lot of challenges. I mean, Marilyn was told she wasn't that she was too ugly to be a star, and her nose was too big and things like that, and she still persevered and was ambitious and made her dreams happen. And she worked really hard for those dreams too. In fact, I don't have the quote on hand right now, but I know she said something like someone asked her why she worked so hard, because she did all these acting classes, voice coaching, all kinds of things like that. She was always training, basically, and she said it was because when opportunity knocks, she wanted to be ready. So that's something I think everybody can learn from, is to prepare yourself for the life you want to live, because you never know when an opportunity will happen. You got to be ready. So another quote I find interesting from Marilyn is, "You must feel attractive to be attractive." And I think that speaks volumes, because I believe it. I think you do have to feel attractive to be attractive. Even if you are the most beautiful person on the planet, if you don't feel beautiful, you won't come off as beautiful. If you are in a bad mood, you're going to come off as, whatever. So definitely Marilyn had that inner spirit and joy, and she was always smiling. So yeah, I just had to include her because I do believe that her believing in herself, and also there were some subconscious things, because when she was growing up, she would go to the pictures and she loved the pictures, and or the film or whatever. She loved watching people act, and she would go home and act as a kid. So I think what you're drawn to as a kid might have some what am I trying to say? It might tie into what you're meant to do as an adult, or what you feel drawn to do as an adult. So just wanted to include Marilyn because she manifested a ton of success in her life. And yeah. Alright, so Jim Carrey is a pretty popular guy in the law of attraction community. He's known for this next quote, and it goes, "I wrote myself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered and dated it Thanksgiving 1995. I put it in my wallet and it deteriorated. And then, just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out I was going to make $10 million for Dumb and Dumber." So this is like a classic example of imagining your desired circumstance or outcome or result. And he wrote himself the check, so he really solidified it. And also writing is a really great tool for manifesting, because when you're writing something and you're putting your intention into it, it's a way to immediately solidify that frequency of that intention that you're putting into it. So only write loving things. Don't ever write anything hateful to anyone or anything like that, because as long as it's on the piece of paper, it's like a stamp of that frequency. So it's really good to write, obviously, and to write things that you love and qualities that you want to have and things you want to manifest in life, and also affirmations, tell yourself you're beautiful and things like that. So it makes a big difference to actually put it on paper, because it comes from you. You're the one holding the pen or the pencil or whatever, and you're embedding your unique frequency onto the paper. So you transfer that onto paper, and it's almost like a painting or any other kind of creation where you put your energy into something and it lasts, and you created something. So I highly recommend writing your intentions, setting goals for yourself, and writing them down and putting pen to paper and putting it into actual physical form, because it's a good, when you can hold your beliefs and read them back to yourself, or stick it in your wallet, or put it under your pillowcase, or things like that. Just keep it around and really visualize the feeling, like I'm sure Jim Carrey did. He visualized how it would feel to make that much money and what he would do with it. He really imagined, and the more vivid you make your imagination, the more powerful the visualization is, basically. So everyone knows Nikola Tesla. He is a genius, a very brilliant man, maybe the most brilliant man to ever live, and I have so much tremendous respect for him and his life, and yeah, basically I could go on and on about Nikola Tesla. His famous quote, I'm sure if you're in the New Age spiritual type community, and if you're into frequency and vibration and things like that, law of attraction, then you know this quote. Nikola Tesla said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." And he was dead on accurate about this, and I'm sure a lot of people who read this quote may not necessarily understand what it means, but it basically is the secrets of the universe, the way the universe communicates, how it holds itself together, how like things take form, things manifest. It's all energy, frequency, vibration, all that. So there's some things that I believe subconsciously helped Tesla manifest his success. And I guess some people might not say he was successful because he died poor, and his work was discredited, and a lot of people attacked him because he was, trying to make a change in the world. And he was very much a victim at the end of his life, and he isolated himself because of that. But his work still lives on. So in my opinion, I do think he was successful because he changed the world, and I think he just did his best, and he's known in a very high positive light. A lot of people respect him and cherish like what he gave us as a population, as humankind. Like, he contributed so much. So I do believe his life was a success, and even though he didn't get to accomplish like the free energy and like see his vision spread, like, who knows, maybe one day it will happen, and maybe it will come from him somehow. Like, I don't know. But anyway, Nikola Tesla was born around midnight between July 9th and July 10th in 1856, and it was during an intense lightning storm. And midway through the birth, the midwife declared that the lightning and the storm was a bad omen, and she said that he would be a child of darkness, and his mom said no, he will be a child of light. And it's crazy prophetic because, he goes on to work with electricity and lightning and all that. And anyway, as a child, Nikola was subconsciously influenced by his mother because she enjoyed inventing just random useful household inventions that would help her with her like day-to-day life. So Nikola always wanted to invent things that would help people in their day-to-day lives. And I think he even said he was influenced by his mother. So I think when you're a child, and I said this with Selena, you are so susceptible to the energies of the people who raise you and who are around you and what they instill into you. That's why I think that the answer to world peace, it lies in what we're doing to our youth. And I could go on and on about that, but I know that if and when I have a kid, I'm going to be so picky about what they're exposed to, because the media, like all the shows, the music, all those things carry vibration. And if you're exposing a child to violent music, that child might grow up to be violent. So I think it's so complex and complicated how our whole lives go full circle. So it's really important to start when they're young, when children are young, to help them believe in themselves and help them find their passions and their path in life, and encourage them to go and attain it. So Nikola had a very supportive mother, and I think he picked up a lot from her. Next up is Kanye West, who is notorious for his extreme confidence, possibly even arrogance, but there's no doubt about it, he believes in himself. And I'm going to share with you a couple quotes from him that I think show how strong his will is and how strong his mind is and how confident he is. And confidence is very important when it comes to manifesting what you want out of life. You have to believe you can achieve it. If you don't believe you can achieve what you want out of life, you never will. You have to believe you can achieve it. And it can't be fake. It has to be genuine. And Kanye West has genuine belief in himself. There's no doubt. So, one of his quotes is, "I am a production of me." And that is all about self-cultivation, self-creation, and being an artist of your own life. And Kanye West has definitely cultivated himself as a character. He's had some iconic moments that set him apart from anyone else. He's unique, and that's something that I think everybody can have fun with in life, is to create who you want to be. There's so many options. I mean, do you want pink hair? Do you want, I don't know. There's so many different things you can do. You can get contacts. You can have a mohawk. You can do so many different things. There's so many things that create the person that you are. So many different aspects and facets of like the crystal. There's all these different things, the music you listen to, the books you read, the people you surround yourself with, the environment you live in, things like that all contribute to who you are. And I think this is a lesson everybody, well, it's not even a lesson, it's just a fact of life. I think everybody should have fun. I mean, I personally love playing role-playing video games. I love to create a character and things like that. And life is the best role-playing video game because you can do anything you want. You can create your own life. You can so in role-playing video games, there's different skills that you can level up. Like, you can level up your carpentry, you can level up your fishing, things like that. And you can do that in real life too. You can pick which skills you want to be good at, and it can be something you might not think you're good at now, but if you practice and apply yourself, you can become good at it. Kanye says, "I'm a production of me." He made himself. He created himself. He cultivated himself. He pulled things from his life that made him him. And we all do this. And I think it's really important to be conscious of what you're allowing to define you, because just be picky about like who you surround yourself with, things that you watch on TV and things like that. Be picky about the vibrations you let enter your aura and things like that, guys. So here's another quote from Kanye that I thought was interesting. "I felt like I was the greatest in 8th grade, and I was far from having a record out. We were taught to believe in ourselves, to believe that we could do anything. We just wake up in the morning and feel good about life." And that's really important, guys. So that was the end of the quote. He would wake up in the morning and feel good about life, to have that gratitude in the present moment. It's so important. Be grateful for what you already have. Don't ever feel like you're lacking anything. Be excited about creating your life and the potential that you have. Just be excited. That's key. You have to have that good feeling and hold on to that good feeling. Embody it, because the longer you embody a high frequency, the more you attune to a higher frequency reality that will manifest to align to you. So this is another example of subconscious programming. When he was in 8th grade, they were taught to believe in themselves and believe he could do anything. And from that, he found what he wanted to pursue in life and did it and accomplished it, because he was taught you can achieve anything. And I think that's really important. I don't think it's a good thing to program children into believing that they have to have a degree to be successful, when honestly, a lot of people I know who have degrees are in debt and things like that, and they're not happy and they feel like they wasted time and blah blah blah. I'm not saying that's the truth for everybody. I know it's a sensitive subject, but I think that everyone should do what they feel guided to do and do what they feel is right for them. And if going to college is right for you, then do it. And I totally support that. I think that's great. I think there should be an option, but I don't believe it should be taught as the only way to be successful, because people like Steve Jobs just go to prove that you don't have to have a degree to be successful. So you really just have to have faith and belief in yourself that you can accomplish what you set out to do, and you have to apply yourself and trust that it's going to work out for the best, and be willing to hit rock bottom, be willing to have challenges and face them head on and accomplish what you want to in life. So I think Kanye is an example of someone who has like bounced back, and a lot of people were seeing him in a different light now. He was portrayed really badly in the media for a long time, but I think people are starting to appreciate like his mad genius side of him. So yeah, that's Kanye West for you. Alright guys, my foot is kind of numb, so I don't know if I can record this part, but this one is about Sophia Loren, who is a gorgeous human being, and I actually got to see her in person in Detroit at the Opera House, and it was really nice, and she just has such a strong aura and presence about her, and I think that comes from growing up in a time without, many electronics and things like that. I think I admire people who got to grow up back when life was more authentic in a way and not so electronic centered, and she achieved really a lot of success and fame, and she's known as one of the most beautiful women ever. So there's a quote from her that says, "Nothing makes a woman more beautiful than the belief that she is beautiful." And I don't want to elaborate too much on that, because I actually might make a separate video about manifesting your physical appearance, and let me know if you guys are interested in that. I think it would be such a fun video to make, and it's so interesting to me. I do believe that you can change your physical appearance with how you think and believe and your feelings. But I'll get into that in that separate video if you guys want me to make it. So yeah, there's another quote from Sophia that says, "When I'm walking along in the street, I always feel that around the corner there's something wonderful waiting for me. That's my attitude." So she always expects to run into something wonderful. She always expects that when she turns the corner, something wonderful is going to be waiting for her, and that is such a good attitude to have in life, to expect goodness, and you will manifest it. If you look for it, you're going to find it, and that's something that I always talk about, and I always give people examples. Like when I'm hanging out with my friends and they need some advice, I'll be like, look around the room and tell me everything that's blue. And then I'll be like, okay, close your eyes, and I'll be like, now tell me what was red. And they'll be like, I don't know. Because if you look for something, you're gonna find that. Even if other things exist parallel to what you find, if you're not looking for it, you might not, see it. So, I'm doing a really bad job explaining this, guys, but you get what I'm saying, I hope. If you look for it, you'll find it, and since she expects something wonderful to happen, she's gonna find something wonderful, because she's looking for it. So, here's another quote. It says, "My mother was so beautiful. She really was a wonderful person, always walking around like a queen. Maybe I took something from her." This is another example of the subconscious childhood thing. So she was raised around her mother, who carried herself like a queen and had this elegance, and Sophia is actually really well known for her walk in this movie, where she just walks so like confidently and has her chin up and her chest out, and just has this really elegant feminine walk, and she carried herself like a queen. So maybe she did pick up something from her mom, being exposed to that as a child, and having that be your mother figure. It does play a role in how you feel about yourself. And so I do believe that she, seeing that her mother was beautiful and the way her mother carried herself when she was growing up, Sophia was exposed to like the idea that, oh wow, that's my mom, so maybe I have qualities like that. So Sophia like manifested beauty into her life, and also elegance and a queen-like presence. And definitely she does have a queen-like presence. Even when I saw her all the way back in the opera house, and she was all the way on the stage, and it was a really far distance, I could tell she just had this aura about her, and that's what made her a star. So I do believe Sophia manifested her success, and like Marilyn, she did have a lot of challenges along the way, not being told she wasn't attractive enough and that she would never be in pictures, but she believed in herself and she persevered and accomplished what she set out to. The next one is not necessarily a celebrity, but they are a character, and it's Cinderella. Cinderella is one of my favorite Disney princesses, and although I don't agree with like all the programming that Disney has and the subliminal messages that they have, I do really like the song that Cinderella sings, and it's "A dream is a wish your heart makes," and a part in the song goes, "No matter how your heart is grieving, if you keep on believing, that dream that you wish will come true." And I love that quote because I think it's so inspiring, and I think it definitely subconsciously affected me when I was growing up. Because I just, if you keep believing, and it says no matter how your heart is grieving, like no matter what's going on in your life that it seems like such a struggle now, you have to keep believing, and then it's gonna come true. You just have to keep believing. Don't ever give up. And I think I just had to mention that here because Cinderella, like, even though she's not a real person, she did manifest success in the story, where even though her surroundings, like she was locked up in a tower, and Cinderella was treated like a slave basically, and she had to do all the cleaning and basically was like a maid for her sisters and her mom and all that, and she still like was happy to serve them. She never complained about it. She was always happy to serve and did it with a smile, and she always had that inner peace. She had just a happiness thing about her, and I think that's why the other people were so resentful towards her, because she was so happy and so beautiful. Her happiness radiated through her and made her beautiful. The stepsisters were jealous and had really bad energy, and they manifested unattractiveness because of that. And Cinderella, even though her circumstances were not ideal, she still had a dream, and she believed in it, and she dwelled in it, and she used her imagination, and eventually she manifested herself out of that circumstance that she was in and into a much better, more aligned circumstance that fit her and her personality and the frequency she was carrying as a person. And yes, I know Cinderella is not real, but I just thought it was a really good example. And there's a lot of examples like this in movies where the character, does not like conform and still believes in their dreams and actually ends up accomplishing it. So I just wanted to mention that one because I thought it was a nice one. Alright, so this next one is kind of crazy, and it's Nick Cannon. He used to tell his friends that he would marry Mariah Carey someday, and his friends would laugh at him. And this was back when she was married to Tony Mottola, who was the guy at Sony that she married in 1993, and they got divorced in 1997. So somewhere in between those 4 years that she was married to this guy, Nick Cannon was telling his friends that he was going to marry her, and they would just laugh and laugh. Well, eventually, in 2008, Nick and Mariah did get married. And it's kind of strange. It took like 10 years, but it happened. So did he manifest their meeting and later their marriage? I don't know. You tell me, but I personally, I think he did. It's so interesting that even though she was married at the time, he still, like, knew. And I just think that's so interesting. Alright, this is one of my favorite ones, and this is Steve Jobs. I believe he manifested success like crazy because he was passionate about what he was doing. And he has a quote that says, "Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." And that just goes to show that if you believe you can do something, you can do it, guys. And Steve Jobs is a great example because he dropped out of university and he was really passionate about computers, and he had a vision, he had a dream, and he focused on it, and he applied himself and worked really hard and made it happen. And along the way, he wasn't concerned about making money. It was never about money, and that's really important. It should never be about money. It should be about following your passion. And he wanted to change the world. He set out to do it, and he did change the world. I mean, iPhones, iTunes, MacBooks, all this we wouldn't have without Steve Jobs, and all that we wouldn't have without Nikola Tesla. So, but it's really interesting that he did change the world, and he believed he could. So, a lot of people don't believe they can change the world or make an impact because they're just one person, but one person can make a huge impact. So, don't ever doubt yourself, guys. Alright, next up, we have Conor McGregor, the notorious Conor McGregor. I do really bad accent, and I love doing Conor's accent, but I'm not going to do it anymore because that's embarrassing. Anyway, Conor McGregor is really confident, kind of like Kanye West. Like, he has extreme confidence that can be considered arrogance at times, but I think he does it all in good fun. I think Conor is really a genius publicist. He doesn't even need a publicist. I think he's his own publicist, and he just created a character that's really funny and triggers people and is entertaining to watch, and he makes a lot of money from it. So good on him. I think it's awesome, like, what he's doing in his life. I think it's very entertaining to watch, and I definitely get a good laugh out of, like, the press conferences he does with other people. Anyway, Conor McGregor is actually a really good manifester. He believes in himself. Anytime he goes into a fight, he knows he's gonna win. He just has this arrogance, and I think he can't trick himself in knowing he's gonna win. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, guys, but, like, he knows he's gonna win in his heart, but sometimes, like, when he's lost, I feel like maybe, like, deep down he had a little bit of a doubt. But anyway, I'm gonna get back to a quote. So here's a quote from Conor. It says, "You need to appreciate your surroundings and be grateful for it, and that's when good things happen. To have that bitterness and negativity, that's when things go bad. I think the fact that I appreciate everything and that I'm grateful for the things around me, that's why it's going so good for me." And I agree 100%, Conor. I think that gratitude is so important. Like, you have to have gratitude in the moment for what you have and appreciate it. And then you will manifest better things into your life because you'll manifest more things to be grateful for. It's been said a billion times in a billion different ways, but yes, you have to be gratitude. You have to be grateful for your life, even just your life. If you can't find anything in your life to be grateful for, be grateful for your life. Be grateful to be alive, because anytime you're alive, your life is full of so much potential. And this is why I get a little frustrated when I see people suffering or addicted to drinking or anything like that. It's because I see the potential in life, and in every single life. There's so much potential, and it saddens me when people don't realize their own potential and everything they could accomplish in their life and what they could strive for and what they could experience and the love that they have inside of them. And anyway, I don't want to get too sappy, but yeah, Conor McGregor, he's a really good manifester, a really good, confident manifester. Similar to Kanye. Alright, next up is Bruce Lee, one of the men who I admire most in life. I believe that Bruce Lee is like an ideal archetype for men to follow because he was super energetic and had this fireball energy to him. He had so much energy and power flowing through him, and he learned how to harness it. But he also had such a philosophical outlook on life, and he really created himself and cultivated himself, and he built a legacy out of nothing, basically. He built his legacy on himself and what he could do and what he could achieve, but it didn't happen overnight, and he had to consistently work for it and challenge himself and hold himself accountable, and he demanded excellence of himself. I've heard that quote before. I forget who said it, but someone who knew him said he demanded excellence of himself, and I agree. I think he did. He had standards for himself. That's why he worked hard, because he wasn't gonna just lay around and do nothing. He didn't have that in him. He wanted to achieve things and to do things with his life, and that's why he is where he is today. He's left a legend behind. He's iconic, and he was quoted as saying, "The possession of anything begins in the mind." And just goes to show, guys, that if you want something out of life, first of all, you have to have the belief that you can get it, but you have to also visualize it and pretend like it's already happened and how you feel about it. And I do believe that's the key, and I think Bruce knew, and all the other celebrities I'm talking about knew, and so many other people know, just random people. I mean, you can go on YouTube and type in manifestation success story or things like that, and you will find lots of videos of people talking about their experiences where they manifested what they were focusing on, and they'll share like synchronicities and all these videos. These people are so amazed and taken back by the beauty of how things have unfolded for them. But it is amazing, but it's just how life works. And if you know it and you begin to harness it, then things start to flow even more because you're allowing them to now. And I just think it's really cool. Bruce Lee is top-notch guy, has so many great quotes, but that's just one I wanted to share with you guys. The possession of anything begins in the mind. Alright guys, the last one for this video is going to be Oprah Winfrey, because she was teaching the law of attraction and things concerning the law of attraction, I think even before it was called the law of attraction, and definitely before The Secret came out. Oprah knew that this was how life works, and she harnessed it for her benefit and for her success, and she would teach people, believe in yourself. And here's the quote from her, guys. It says, "Create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life, because you become what you believe." And I just love that quote so much. She's such a beautiful woman. She has the best way, I believe, when it comes to her voice and her writing. She just has so much talent and knows how to word things really well, and I admire that about her, and I strive to be like that. I would love to be able to be as articulate and an elegant speaker as Oprah is. And she always had so much respect for herself and knew what she was capable of and what she was worth. And I remember listening to an interview of her, and she was talking about working at a job where her and a man were doing the same job, but he was getting paid more. So she talked to her boss about it and confronted him about it, and her boss was like, well, why should you be getting paid the same? You don't have kids, you don't have blah 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 blah, or whatever. And it was something really unfair, and she knew it was unfair, so she said thank you for your time and left and never looked back. And she left that job because she knew she was worth more than that kind of unfair treatment. I don't know, I didn't say it verbatim. I'm sure you can find the interview somewhere, but I don't know what the exact quotes were, but it was something along the lines of that. And that just goes to show that she knew her worth and respected herself. Didn't let anyone take advantage of her, and was willing to risk not having a job and leaving a job and move on to something that she knew would be better aligned to her, without knowing at the time what it was. She just knew that what she was in at the moment was not it, and she trusted that and went with it. So Oprah is a really good example of manifesting, guys, and I do believe she's so wise and has so much to teach people, and I'm happy with where she is in life. So yeah. Alright guys, so there you have it. Those are my celebrities that I picked, and I hope you find their stories interesting and inspiring and motivating to go and accomplish your dreams and believe in yourself and all that jazz. And I'm sure I could find more celebrities and more stories to share with you guys, so let me know if you want to see a part 2, and let me know in the comments what you think about these quotes and these celebrities and their success and all that. And also let me know if you guys want to see this video that I'm planning on doing, but I don't know if I will, because it's going to be a lot of work, because I'm sort of a perfectionist and I'm really passionate about this subject, and it's the subject of changing your appearance with the law of attraction and manifesting your appearance and things like that. And I could talk so much about that, so let me know if you guys want to see that, and I'll get to work on it, and it might take a while because I really want to make it good for you guys. So yeah, I really hope you guys like this video. I know it's been a while since I made one, but I felt the urge, and I'm glad I did it, because I'm really proud of this video, and I hope you guys found it beneficial and inspiring. So I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.